So you probably write a diary, or maybe you're thinking of writing one. But I think you should also take a look at journaling. Hi guys, my name is Medic Hero. I hope you're doing well. So today I'm just going to be talking about journaling and how I'm about to start on my journaling journey. So on the 13th of February 2021, I started journaling. After 6 months, so that will be the 12th of August 2021, I will reflect back and see how far I've gone and what the benefits I've gained from journaling. So I'm going to document this journey, and obviously I'll make 2 videos. One is this video of me starting off, and the other video will be me towards the end having reached all my goals. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know the difference between a diary and a journal. I thought that they were both the same, which they're not. A diary is basically a recount of your day. So all the events that you experienced in a day, you write them down. The people you met, the conversations you had, is basically just converting what you saw, what you experienced, into words. Whereas journaling is about the thoughts, the feelings, and the reflections throughout that day. 2 different things. Both have their pros and cons. So I've been writing in diaries since the age of 10, and since then I have come across multiple different positives with writing a diary. Number 1 is that your memory becomes unquestionable. You cannot question your memory. The reason being is that any event that you experience and once you write down at the end of the day, that reinforces your memory and you can't ever forget that certain event. For example, I can remember 2 years ago what certain colour clothes I was wearing on a certain day, even though there wasn't anything special happening that day. But that's because, number 1, I wrote down what I was wearing, what I was doing. Number 2, I read back at that certain diary event. So one of the positives is that your memory becomes a lot better over time if you keep a diary. Now, the second positive with writing a diary is the reflective thoughts that you get and the lessons that you learn from reading it. Now, obviously, if I was to read back at a diary entry that I wrote 2 weeks ago, my thoughts would be very, very different if I was to read that same diary entry 10 years down the line. So 10 years later, when I'm 30 years old, oh my days, 30 years old, but when I'm 30 years old and I read that certain diary entry, because over time I'm maturing a lot more and I experience a lot more, my thoughts, my feelings, my vision will be completely different and I'll understand what had happened that certain day. So writing a diary has multiple benefits. But moving on to journaling. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is not sponsored at all. Now, I am going to be using the journal ZELO. Okay, so before I begin, I would just like to give a very big thank you to ZELO for sending me this journal, and hopefully I benefit from it. Now, with the ZELO Journal, you also get a booklet, and this booklet shows you how to write in your journal and what to write in your journal. Okay, so with the ZELO Journal, you also get a habit tracker, which I'm not going to lie, I've never ever tracked any of my habits, and this is also what I'm planning to do. So hopefully this should also benefit me as well. So this is actually kind of interesting. I actually like this, you know? Now, what I was also surprised by and very happy about is that the ZELO Journal has this animal-friendly polyurethane leather. So it's artificial synthetic leather. So, like, obviously no animals were harmed in the making of this. Now, not only that, if you look at the paper, it's 100 GSM ivory paper, which you can't get any better than that. Obviously, if you go any further than that, obviously you turn into card. So the quality of paper is outstanding. So you start off by writing 3 major goals you want to achieve in 6 months. Now, this whole journal goes off the principle of SMART goal setting. Now, I remember last week I had a lecture on this as well. So you start off by writing down 3 major goals you want to achieve in the 6 months. Now, let's break down what SMART actually stands for. So, beginning with S. S is for specific. So the goal that you choose has to be specific. So let's say, for example, if you want to get better grades as one of your goals, that's not a specific goal. What would be specific is that I want to achieve a minimum of 75% in my exams. But you can be even more specific than that and talk about which exams, all exams or a certain exam. So looking at the second letter of SMART is M. So M for measurable. Is it possible to track and trace your goal within the 6 months that you have? Which in this example it is. You can quantify your results and measure as you go along throughout the 6 months. So obviously you can keep a track of all the test scores that you get and see whether you improve. So definitely it's measurable. Looking at the third letter of SMART, so A for attainable. Is it possible to actually achieve this goal? So for example, reaching 100% in your exams is possible, but then if you don't have access to, textbooks or the internet, then obviously it might be slightly harder. So this idea of the goal being attainable will help you to identify any obstacles you may have, and therefore you can work your way around it. Looking at the fourth letter in SMART, which is R, so R for relevant. Is this goal relevant to you? In other words, will it add value to your life? For example, learning how to climb a tree might not be as relevant in your life as learning a new language might be. Because by learning a new language, you open up many other opportunities to succeed further. So for me, learning a new language means that I have the opportunity to treat patients in a foreign country if I wish to do so. And then looking at the last letter of SMART, which is T, T stands for time bound. So what is your time frame? Now obviously for this diary it is 6 months, and obviously you can start this whenever throughout the whole year. You can start it right at the end of the year or right at the start of the year. Now throughout the rest of your diary you'll be setting out weekly main goals. So your main targets are the large targets, which can be easily broken down into smaller tasks on a daily basis throughout the week. What would make you feel fulfilled this time next week, and how will you achieve this? Obviously we might not be able to achieve every single goal, but there is a difference between how much we have to do in a week and how much we have to do in order to feel that sense of satisfaction. Now this question really does prevent you from overworking and feeling demotivated, because now you are more likely to achieve your weekly goals. So you might not achieve all of them, but enough to feel satisfied with yourself. Now after the week finishes, you also have to fill out a weekly review. So what 3 activities which went well? So how did it make you feel, and how can you repeat that? Now throughout this weekly review there is this certain section in the journal which mentions to write down 3 opportunities of improvement. So looking at that week, was there anything that you could have improved on? So there you have it. I will complete this journal on the 12th of August 2021, and then I shall upload a second video talking about whether I achieved my goals, and hopefully I do. And I will share the whole journey, the whole process, and hopefully you guys can be inspired as well to also start journaling. So that's pretty much it. That's the end of my video, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And also just a quick check-in. I hope that you're doing well and keep smiling.